This late 17th century thatched building is the barn gallery of the Alexander Keeley Museum. Inside is a wealth of information relevant to the Avebury landscape, with Neolithic exhibits including some from the Windmill Hill and predating the stone circle. In total spanning some 6,000 years.
This beautiful 17th century barn gives you a fabulous feel to the courtyard as you walk in. I was here in March, and what I found when I visited the barn is there's a wonderful exhibition about the history of the stones, including the work of Mr. Keeler, so that it really set the context for me when I went to visit the stones. The barn would not look the same in any different roofing whatsoever. The thatch is totally in character.
Well, it's obviously an essential part of the facilities here, and it blends very well with the environment. And it would be a great shame if it fell into disrepair. It's an essential part of the display in this area, so it must be maintained.
I found it fascinating when it inside the barn it showed timbering that I've recognised from being a mining engineer myself, and I've seen that type of timbering, and it was very surprising and pleasant to see it again, and in such a good condition, and also for other people to see for future generations. That's how timbering was done before the steel got into the vision of the constructors.
So showing that ancient techniques are still very highly prized.
Yes.
Good. The interior timberwork is in relatively good condition, having been recently restored.
It's interesting coming from a village that has a lot of thatched cottages to see this one, and an awful lot of work going into all the thatched cottages. They look so clean and nice when they've been repaired, and this one is starting to look rather worn, a little tatty, a lot of moss, which can't do it any good at all. So, yeah, it looks like it could do with some work.
I really enjoyed the exhibition. I really enjoyed the chronology, starting 6,000 years ago and working forward in time. It's very interactive, and lots of interactive things for the children at the end.
I should be very disappointed if you didn't get the funding to put a new roof on it. It's like all old buildings, if you don't start and get the roof right, there isn't much point in worrying about the rest of it. So it is most important that you get a new thatch on all of our, as far as I'm concerned.
And we've heard about Avebury because of the stones. We've heard about the stones, so we decided to stop here today on our way to Stowe on the Wold. And as we've walked around, we've realised there was this lovely area to sit and have some lunch or a nice drink and just sit and relax in the sunshine, isn't it? It's
beautiful courtyard, isn't it? The barn as a backdrop.
Yeah, and so it would be a shame, I think, if this barn was allowed to go into disrepair, because it is a lovely backdrop to sit, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fascinating thing that I found today is, although I'd hoped to find out why Avebury was constructed in the first place, why people put an enormous effort into bringing the stones here and digging out these massive earthworks. The fact is, I'm really no better off knowing why. I know a bit more about the people, I know a bit more about how they did it, and I know a lot more about the people who've lived here since. But the fascinating question still remains, and perhaps it's great that it's still a mystery. We still don't know.
So as you have heard from these comments, this wonderful late 17th century barn is a popular visitor attraction, but is in desperate need of a new thatch to ensure its heritage.